Welcome to Your Path to Real Wealth, where we explore how to cultivate real wealth, which is so much more than money. It's the sum quality of our values, relationships, health, sense of purpose, time, charitable giving, legacy, and more. Your path to real wealth begins now.
Welcome back. Now, we've met two of the show's hosts. This time, we have the opportunity to meet the third partner of Blue Barn Wealth, and that is Hyrum Smith. I'm Patrice Sikora. Hyrum, let's start with the same initial question that I asked your colleagues, Jeff Brimhall and Benjamin Cummings. What brought you to financial services?
Well, it's a great question. If you look back, it's probably a 15-year journey for me. I grew up kind of liking math and then went to college at Utah State, was studying math major started, and then it started going abstract math a little bit. I like more practical. So I ended up graduating in accounting, thinking I would kind of pursue a corporate finance accounting role, kind of manager role. So after I graduated from Utah State in 2002, I attended the University of Utah for my MBA, where I graduated in accounting and finance in 2003, and then moved the family from Utah to Boise, Idaho, and started working at KPMG where I ended up making my grandfather proud. And became a CPA. I'm the only grandchild who actually received their CPA anyways. I transitioned. Work was really hard at KPMG, a lot of hours demanding. So I transitioned to Albertsons, then Treasury Department. So I was really kind of focusing on corporate finance, corporate accounting, which I enjoyed, but I just found that the work wasn't as meaningful as I had hoped for. And so I ended up kind of doing some research on my own, kind of like all of us, maybe we're just trying to figure things out, and ended up finding there's this career, this path in personal financial planning. And I found as I read about it, the more I just got more excited about it. So I was at that time, I was actually planning on just kind of maybe becoming an advisor, going to a firm and starting to practice. But I spoke with my father, who's one of my great mentors, and he was in academia, and he said, you've always liked to learn, Hyrum. So have you ever thought about going back to school to get a PhD and become a professor? And the more I thought about it, I decided that was kind of the route for me. So that's what I did. But in preparation, I ended up passing the CFP exam and getting that. And then somehow my wife was willing to move with me to Boise, Idaho, to Buddy Holly country down in Lubbock, Texas, where I studied for a few years, really enjoyed my experience there, and graduated and moved in 2007, ended up graduating in 2009 and moved. My first job was to become a Hokie at Virginia Tech, and where I taught personal financial planning, and for about 4 years. And then a professor friend of mine back in Utah in Orem had just started a personal financial planning program at Utah Valley University, where he convinced me to come back. Yeah.
And let me guess, you moved the family again.
I did. Yes. Good clarifying point. Yes. You could tell I have a wonderful wife who's willing to, anyways. And we had never thought about moving back to Utah, but the opportunity was great. So we did that. And so I was back and I was teaching, several different courses, helping this program, enjoying that. But I had a family and friends who would approach me, and they knew that I had experience in personal financial planning. They'd say, "Hey, what do you think about my plan, my investments, and as I would look at it, sometimes I realized it wasn't maybe what was being done wasn't maybe always in their best interests. And I said, well, I can do this. I know this is what I teach. So then I started researching on the side and so forth. And as part of researching, how could I start something on the side? I met a individual by the name of Denise Smith, who was a certified financial planner and CPA, had her solo practice, had a lot of respect for her. And I wanted to meet her just to find out more about how she manages her practice, how she helps clients. And then when we first met, she at one point said, "Would you like to buy my practice?" And at the time I was full-time faculty at UVU. And I politely said, "Well, thank you, but no." And then I went home and talked to my wife about it. And she's like, "Hyrum, you really should think about this." So over a month or two, I thought a lot about it and decided to make the leap, kind of a career change, same industry, but career change into actually working full-time advising people. So I'm grateful for my wife for that, who knows me a lot better maybe than I know myself sometimes. So anyways, in 2015, bought financial planning office, and then eventually ended up merging with Blue Barn Wealth.
That's a fantastic career. I mean, here you are, you taught it and now you do it. So you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
teaching it, you know all the latest developments.
Yeah, that's a good point. And actually, it's kind of really fun and rewarding for me. My wife keeps asking, "Are you gonna keep teaching at UVU?" And I still am. I teach tax and retirement. I took a reduced role, but I love taking what I'm learning in practice and helping people on a day-to-day basis. But also, I get to teach that to the next generation and help bring practical examples and help them.
Well, what kind of client do you like working with the best? Who do you really want to work with?
Yeah, really, I want to work with anyone who's motivated, has a desire to improve their finances, but also somebody that's willing to trust and outsource. Sometimes I'll meet with individuals who are interested in our services, but they don't really kind of want to let go and let somebody kind of help. But somebody who's willing to trust, but really has a desire to improve and is looking for meaning beyond just their investments. And that's part of our mission here at Blue Barn Wealth, is to help purpose inspire people live a more simple, intentional, and meaningful life.
Well, what exactly do you do for your clients?
Yeah, it's really the way I look at it. I'm kind of like for better or for worse, an orchestra. My wife plays the violin, and so she's helped me appreciate music a lot more. But I view my role kind of as orchestra. Every client, every has a unique situation. They've got maybe some investments, different types of accounts. Maybe they're trying to save for retirement. They have children maybe going to, or others are trying to support for education or, insurance. And they have all these things they have to try and manage, and it can get complicated. And I view my role as an orchestra is to kind of bring that all together, make a holistic financial plan that's customized to each client to help them feel confident and secure in the direction where they're going.
All right. Do you enjoy working with individual clients, creating customized financial plans for each one?
I do. I love it. Actually, in accounting, I learned a lot previously in my career. But one thing that kind of it became mundane every month, repeating kind of the same task or maybe some slight altercations. But what I love is each person is so unique and different. They have different behavioral backgrounds. They have their experiences in life, how they feel about money, different types of assets. And I view it's kind of like a puzzle. So it's very stimulating for me intellectually to be able to take these pieces, put it together, and kind of try and come up with a unique plan that and then see the satisfaction that individuals receive. And when they look and they say, "Oh, you know what? I'm actually on track. I actually can accomplish these things. I can, and maybe I can even do more than I thought," and help them accomplish their dreams and the things they care most about.
Do you find you have to do a lot of education with your clients?
Yeah, I do. We all are educating ourselves every day, and I appreciate the fact that I've taken a lot of time to educate myself over the years, and I feel like my father kind of taught me that it's important to share what you have. And so I love in meetings. That's one of the things I love is instead of just telling clients what to do, sometimes I fault in the sense of maybe overeducating sometimes, but I do like to explain things so they can understand it as best as possible, kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, I find a lot of advisors say they explain, but they don't seem to put it into everyday words that the clients really understand.
Yeah, and that's true. It's sometimes using words that they're not familiar with. And so one thing I do like to do, I think most people are visual learners. And so it's not uncommon for me in a meeting to maybe pull out a piece of paper and just start to draw and show, for example, like what is a Roth IRA conversion, and helping explain what that is and walking through the steps to kind of help individuals and clients understand that. Because I want to empower them to make those decisions. A lot of times they look to us for recommendations, but I want them to feel like they're part of that process.
Okay. Who's on your team, Hiram? I mean, who works with you?
Yeah, enjoy working with Jeff Brimhall and Benjamin Cummings as partners. He's also a great advisor. He kind of chairs our investments, our marketing efforts, as well as one thing I appreciate about Jeff is he's a great listener. Benjamin, I've known for several years, back to the days in Lubbock, Texas, where as a partner, that's where and we partnered up later on. He's a great advisor as well. He's very genuine, cares for his clients. He also heads up our compliance and marketing efforts as well. And then, and we've got some great associates here, associate advisors. These are very capable individuals, Derek, Taylor, and Justin. We work together in teams at the firm. So while every client has a lead advisor, we also have associate advisor assigned to every client where we work together collaboratively to meet those clients' needs and so forth. And we just recently hired Haley Mather, client service associate. She's great attitude. She's going to be awesome. And we're looking forward to her main role will be helping improve the client servicing experience.
Well, you've kind of hinted at this, but I'd like you to talk about your business philosophy.
I find myself at times when I'm working and in the business model we're not a commission firm. So we don't have maybe as many conflicts of interest, but sometimes there could be. We're paid on a percentage of the assets that we manage. And so there can be conflicts at times. So I ask myself this, what would I do in this situation if this was my assets? So my business philosophy is really do what is best for the clients, regardless of the consequences. So if they want to take money out, for example, to pay off a mortgage, and that's going to result in less revenue, but that's in the best interest for them, then I believe it's good business practice to do that, do what's best. And I believe maybe it's good karma or whatever. Those things come back. And I think it's been helpful, and clients I've been very appreciative of referrals and so forth that have come back, I think, as they felt that. And then, investments can be a complicated thing. But again, everyone is so unique and different. So the way I like to approach things is build a customized, diversified portfolio, but it's tailored to each client's individual situation. So one thing when I sit down with a client or someone for the first time is, what are your cash flow needs over the next 5 years? And then we'll typically invest in kind of short-term bonds that are higher in quality to meet those cash flow needs, so that if markets do go down like they are now, then they can feel confident that they've got the draws what they need over these next 5 years, and allowing that growth side of the portfolio, that the riskier side, to kind of grow over time. And then everyone's so different, unique. And so we really want to understand before we even invest. Cash flow needs is also how they feel about risk. Someone may be more willing to take on risk and some less. And so we really do try and first understand our clients before we recommend a plan.
All right, let's get out of the office. I noticed behind you, it looks like you got a picture of your family.
Yes, it's a little small, but yes, it's back there. Yes.
Okay. You've got the family picture there. So let me guess, when you're not working, what do you do for fun? Is the family involved?
Yes, they are. That's, life is really busy for all of us. And, so I do, I've got 2 daughters, one who will be graduating next year from college, another one who's currently actually serving a mission right now. And then three sons who are busy and driving my wife crazy, but they're wonderful and they're teenagers. And so, yeah, love to spend time with my wife. We love to travel. We don't do it as much as maybe we'd like, but we do travel, love to travel, watch music plays together, love to spend, a bike ride and just kind of talk some time. For my children, they get me out every year out of hibernation to go run a half marathon is kind of what I've been doing the last, kind of 6 years. And so I do that, and just throwing the Frisbee, and kind of what I enjoy doing is what my children enjoy doing, just so I can spend time with them, whether it's baseball, watching a Yankees game, going on hikes, or
Yankees. Wait a minute. You're in Utah. Yankees?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? It's
Yeah.
like probably the only Yankee fan in Utah. No.
And I'm thinking you didn't end up in New York at any time in all your travels.
No, we didn't. And that actually, it came from my father. So I collected baseball cards when I was younger. And for our birthday, he would give us baseball cards. And he gave me, so I still have this day, a Mickey Mantle and a Yogi Berra baseball card. And I started following the Yankees in the 80s. I could say I'm not a fair weather fan, because I followed them in the 80s when there was Don Mattingly and they weren't as maybe popular. And so I've grown to love them, and I've been able to successfully brainwash my sons to also become Yankees fans.
So you must be riding high right now.
Yeah, we are.
Really
we are.
well.
We just got back from New York and took them, and my son was able to catch a home run ball. So it was
Awesome.
it was a great experience. So,
well, what is your idea of success? Going to take this a step further.
Yeah, it's hard for each of us as sometimes it's easy for us to put on a facade in one scenario or another, whether it's we're talking to somebody at work or at home. And my goal, and I think somebody who's successful is somebody who is a genuine good person, consistently wherever they're at. If it's at work, the way they treat their employees and others, or if it's at home, their family situation or their relationships, or kind of wherever they go, that they're the same genuine person.
Then what is your proudest achievement? And I know you're going to say the kids, but aside from the kids.
Yes. Well, I would have to trump that just a little. My proudest achievement is somehow persuading my wife to marry me. So she's an incredible person, and is maybe a much better person. And I was able to do it before I lost my hair, which was a good thing. But also my children. Yes. Seeing them, our goal, my wife, is to help raise them to be better individuals and to contribute more in society than we did. So.
Well, do you have a motto or a mantra, something you say to yourself to stay focused and on track?
Yeah, I find myself asking. A couple of years ago, my father passed away, and he was one of my key mentors in my life. I mentioned earlier how he was very influential in actually getting me in this career. He was a kind of a law professor. He was very intellectual, but he cared deeply about individuals as well. My mother was probably one of the kindest persons that you could meet. So I find myself asking the question, what would my father and mother do? And that helps me stay on track and target, whether it's in my relationships at work or with clients or at home.
That is an awesome thought. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. In fact, I've got an example. So my father was a teacher, right? And so he taught at various universities. We moved several times growing up, but I've got a photo after he passed away. I've got a picture of him teaching. His students had taken, he was standing on front of a table in the front of the room teaching the class, and all the students had written really thoughtful notes to him, kind of thanking him for his teaching. And it was one day, it was at this last fall. I had just come from work at the practice and then was teaching, and it was kind of a tiresome. I was a little tired, a little fatigued. And I remember I had like a 10-minute break between classes. And I remember just sitting down and just thinking, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I kind of want to go to this class. I felt a little overwhelmed, a little tired. And then I looked back and I saw the picture of my father standing on the desk teaching. And, could almost hear him say, "Hey, Hyrum, you've got this, you can do this." And that was very encouraging to me.
That's awesome. Really. All right, Hyrum, you've got the attention of a lot of people on this podcast. Who do you really hope will listen?
Yeah, I really hope everyone. Really, we want to help as many people as possible live a simple, intentional, and meaningful life. We realize finances are complicated. They're not easy. But we feel like we've got the experience and the credentials and the team here to help meet those needs. And we hope this, whether someone becomes a client or not, we hope it can provide a little bit more meaning, help whether it's helping them financially or just overall in their relationships or health or life in general. So really, hopefully everyone.
All right. And how can listeners reach you?
Yeah, our websites, bluebarnwealth.com. You can go there and there's contact information. My email address is Hyrum, Hyrum, as in Mary, at bluebarnwealth.com.
All right. Listeners, follow this podcast. Make sure you know when a new episode is ready for you. And don't be greedy. Share with others.
Thank you for listening to Your Path to Real Wealth from Blue Barn Wealth. If you like what you heard, please share it with your friends and click the subscribe button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the hosts and any guests and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Blue Barn Wealth. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for personalized investment advice. Because everyone's situation is unique, always seek the advice of a qualified financial professional with any questions you may have.